Welcome to the show. I'm going to say welcome back to Dan Korem. We're really kind of continuing a discussion we started several weeks ago, but we're going to dig a little deeper into the Korem method. And you wrote the book, The Art of Profiling, and Snapshot. You brought Snapshot. I bought a copy of The Art of Profiling and forgot it. I left it at home. Anyway, but your work challenges how we think about behavior, decision making, the stories we tell ourselves about other people. Well, rather than putting people into boxes, Dan, it seems like you're helping us see patterns, motivations, possibilities, offering some practical tools for leaders and creatives and anybody who really wants to understand a little bit better human behavior. Part of our discussion will explore how your method works and why it can be transformative. So welcome back to the show.
This is great. It's great to be here. You have the best view.
I know, isn't it fun? I've done so many interviews, and I've always wondered how Joe Rogan goes 3 hours with a guest. I went, you were my example, because we did. I don't know. We went almost 50 minutes talking last time, and just barely got through a couple of questions. So anyway, so if you would just briefly bring everybody up to speed on what the Korem method is.
Yeah. It's called the Korem Profiling System. And I was asked by the presidents of major corporations from the Young Presidents Organization. You have to be president of a major company before you're 40, and you get booted out when you're 50.
So they're young guys, guys and gals.
Guys and gals. Globally, it's one of the most significant business organizations in the world because you're seeing future leaders, et cetera. And so I was a keynote speaker for them. And then they came to me and said, "Hey, Dan," this is before I did anything related to profiling. I was an investigative journalist doing documentaries, revealing things about the culture. Folks, we obtained the first confession of a homicidal, suicidal cult leader. Like you had David Koresh here.
Right. Oh, yeah.
This guy was like a David Koresh.
Yeah, a Jim Jones kind of a guy.
Yeah, but it was about 4 years after all that happened. This was in 81. We filmed undercover for 2 years. And I told him, I said, nobody knew really why people were joining cults. And then we found out there was a pattern of who joined a cult and who the cult leader would be, behavioral pattern that was not known at that time. And so they said, Korem, you're really good at getting people to talk to you and answer, and could you develop a system for profiling for us? And I said, like, what are you looking for? They said, we want to know first, how do we communicate with someone, especially in foreign cultures, because we're stereotyping. By the way, the word racial profiling never existed in the history of the English language until about 89. There wasn't any such thing. It's racial stereotyping.
Right, that's what you're really thinking of.
You're thinking, yeah, because you're reading behaviors. Stereotyping, you're saying because a person has a certain haircut or a certain color of their skin or a certain ethnicity, they're going to be a certain way. And that's stereotyping. So that's what was happening to them. They were stereotyping in large negotiations, $100 to $400 million deals. And so they said, could you develop a system for us? I said, I don't know. So I made some calls. I had been training law enforcement related to these new trends that I was investigating. I was one of the lead subject matter experts on why, for example, why gangs were forming in suburbs and small towns for the first time in world history. Never happened before in the history of the planet. And in '83, when I did my documentary, I saw a pattern occurring in suburbs like mine. I was in Richardson, and we had the first drive-by shooting in America at our high school, where 93% of the kids went to college. And my daughter's grades went to C's and D's. She was an AB student, and people were terrified.
Yeah.
I was here many, many times in this region of the country. This is called Region 12, this education region.
Education.
Yeah, training them. That's why your gang population didn't increase. We solved the riddle of how you stop gang formation. And so to do that, you have to talk to people. You got to find out what's going on and always reverse engineer it. Who's more likely to get involved and not get involved? Is there a pattern of who gets involved and why, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So the CEOs thought, Korem, you're good at getting people to talk to you. Could you develop a system for us so we could just figure out people real quickly? So I met with a number of HR experts, behavioral experts, and we came up with 4 gauges that you answer in your mind, and you get a 2.5-page profile in 2 minutes of meeting somebody. And you can do it even without meeting somebody. And you can be tested for your accuracy, so it's not an anecdotal experience. Especially when you got hundreds of millions of dollars on the table, you can't make a mistake. You got to get it right.
You got to get it right. We think we're good judges of character. Where do we usually get it wrong?
Well, if you start off on the wrong foot, just how you talk to somebody, for example, if a person, but I'll go through the 4 gauges real quickly.
Okay.
So they wanted to know, to separate, how does someone talk to you separate from their walk? In other words, what are they going to say? What are they going to do? On the talk side, we want to know, is a person assertive or more laid back and non-assertive when they communicate? It's not good or bad. You can have uptick and downticks on each side. But are you more like, say, a Mr. Rogers, won't you be my neighbor? Or be Storm and Norman, General Schwarzkopf, assertive, etc. Okay. The other one is, does a person prefer to control or express emotions when they communicate? And you can express your emotions through the use of your hands. It could be the tone of your voice. It could be the choice of your words. So there's not just one way to do it. And so that's on the communication side. Performance side, is a person more conventional or unconventional? Are they more creative, out of the box, like change, variability, or are they more conventional? They like rules, regs, no surprises, no changes, etc. Both can be good, but also can have their downside. So it's not that one's good or bad. And then the 4th one is, how does a person make a decision? Because if we're negotiating a contract, I got to know how you're going to make a decision. And here's the key. It's, how does this person make a decision separate from their training, separate from their giftedness? Because if you put them in a new situation, that's when their real trait is going to come out. And so we figured out how to teach people how to identify this. And when they're tested, the average person has 25 to 35% accuracy globally. I don't care if you're a behavioral expert. They just don't teach this sort of a skill set and test you for your accuracy. So that's number 1. Number 2, it had to be transferable so anybody in the organization could use it. So the simplest way, little tip, if you want to immediately increase your accuracy and go from 25, 35% to 40, 50%, you just do this one simple thing. Instead of thinking, is Ann assertive or non-assertive when she communicates? Which way does she tilt? You ask, is she more like Mr. Rogers or Storm and Norman, General Schwarzkopf? Maximus and the Gladiator. And you can pick examples today, and you say, which way do they tilt? And make your read in 10 seconds. And when you do that, every group in the world immediately increases their accuracy to about 40 to 50%. Just by doing that one simple thing, because now you're not doing a gut read. Does that look more like Mr. Rogers? Would Mr. Rogers have said it that way? He would kind of talk like this, or is he more like this? And by the way, you can open your body and talk like this and be assertive with the tone of your voice, where another person squares up to you. Another person's using their hands.
And that's pretty definitive.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
So then we came up with other techniques where we get every group in the world to 85 to 90% accuracy in one day. And you're tested for your accuracy. And you're watching video clips, real people, real situations. So that's the basic background for the system.
Yeah. Is there a moment when the Korem method changed how you understood someone? Or maybe changed the outcome of a situation?
Oh, well, actually, what you do is not just change the outcome. You start out with a better outcome. That's
always the better way.
No, that is that. I mean,
that's the preferred way.
You think about it. If you're negotiating a contract and you start off on the wrong foot,
Yeah.
And then you got to backtrack and you,
Figure out how to make it right. Yeah.
well, all that's done is it's deferred gaining trust and transparency.
Right.
Because then they want to know, why did that person all of a sudden change the way they're talking to me, or
Yeah.
they're asking me to do something different than they asked me to do before, et cetera.
How much misunderstanding others is really about misunderstanding ourselves?
Actually, uh, if you're not trained, you're going to be inaccurate 65% of the time anyways. Period. Just, I mean, that's because you don't know the skill set. It's like if I said, how accurate could I be on a typewriter? If you've never used it, you know, but if you use it a while, it's going to be great. The only difference is you don't have to go through 10,000 exercises to do this. You can learn it in a day. If you read the book, you can develop a high level of competency, 4 to 6 weeks. Keep using it, you can get higher. And there's a check on the read. So you're on the fly, and things just seem a little out of. You go back and you say, "Am I looking at Mr. Rogers or General Schwarzkopf?
Right.
Am I looking at Queen Elizabeth, who was very stoic, didn't show much emotion, or am I looking at Jim Carrey, who's extremely expressed?"
Oh, yeah.
All you want to know is which way they tilted. So if your audience is looking at you right now, not just are you smiling, but your eyes, everything is showing some emotion. So you're not, on a scale of 0 to 5, you're not 5 express. You're not wild and crazy with your emotions, but you're about 2.
Yeah.
Now, why is that beneficial in what you do as a professional? Because you have people who are both expressing emotions and more stoic. You could have a scientist here, for example, who's a person in the lab, and he or she doesn't show a lot of emotion because it's just about the data.
Yeah.
Well, just now when I said that, if you look at the camera, you would see that you just restrained your emotion. So that's something we look for. Is she high express or low express? And if she's a little bit express, that's better because it's easier to restrain what you have, excuse me, than to ask a person who is controlling of emotions, like Tom Landry, always was very stoic.
Yeah.
If you try to tell a person who's controlling of emotions to show more emotion, it'll look affected. It'll look off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense? So when I'm a producer and I have 4 people interviewing for this job, I'm not going to, if the person is high express and they may be extremely intelligent, I'm going to put them in a situation where they have to interview somebody who's high control of emotions and see if they've learned to restrain themselves. So myself, on a scale of 0 to 5, I'm more about a 3. But I ended up training 4,000 auditors for major corporations, McDonald's, Boeing, et cetera. And I had to learn to restrain my emotions because auditors typically as a group, especially when they're in a group, restrain their emotions. And if I show a lot of emotion, the tendency is to think a person who's showing a lot of emotions maybe is using that to cover what the real facts are. And you never think of that.
Right.
So when I wrote the book Snapshot, they asked me, "Dan, you wrote the book about how to do the system. We need very specific things you can do with each of the 4 reads and how you can improve it." So then I started tracking what people were telling me they were doing. A lot of it's new. It's new to the literature. And that was 15 years ago, so I started that about 2005, collecting what new things people were doing.
Yeah. In the snapshot, you talk about making decisions with incomplete information. Why are we so uncomfortable with not knowing?
It depends on, what kind of stake you have in the situation. One, obviously, with a group of people, you don't want to make yourself look like an idiot because you don't know the answer to something.
All right.
That doesn't mean we should feel that way, but people do have that. It's always at the table. Everybody's a little bit more reserved, checking everybody else out. And the 2 things you have to know if you're hiring somebody or working as a team what can they do out of confidence from their training? So if you've been trained how to listen to someone in an interview, for example, there was a gal who lived not that far from here, and she was a high school student, and you'd know the town if I said it. And her dad owned a gas station and repair shop altogether. And so what she did was she noticed this one guy was very, very quiet. But if you watched him off to the side, he could show more emotion. But he wasn't fitting in. So what she did was she sat next to him, and sometimes she'd show emotion to let him show his emotion, and other times she was a little more restrained, so he'd feel comfortable with that. And she said in about 2 weeks he was a member of the whole team. Now she was only 16 years old.
Yeah, so she had it figured out.
Well, her dad did. Well, most adults have never had this training.
Mm-hmm.
The kids we've trained, I don't know, 45, 50,000, 60,000 adults in every sort of profession. But the kids, because they've never learned how to read, they just do it instantly. And we had kids making up to $200 an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, no, for real. Well,
Yeah.
and she actually helped her dad boost her business. Another gal in the neighborhood here, her dad was going to expand his propane tank business, and she showed him how to profile neighborhoods. There's examples of this in Snapshot of how you can profile a neighborhood and then profile your product or service and say, is this a behavioral match? In addition to seasonal income levels and all that. Most people skip the behavioral part.
Yeah.
And she, it was, I can't remember the number, but it was incredibly high increase in the profitability of the company in 1 year. And then she got a full ride scholarship using the skill set to Alabama, the University of Alabama, which that was worth several $100,000.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. A lot more we need to talk about. I want some takeaways and more personal insights, and I think you even have a magic trick for us. Anyway, stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Finding a sleep sack that my baby likes has been a struggle.
The sleep sack from Joy is a major upgrade.
It is all natural eucalyptus, which is breathable and hypoallergenic.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi.
And I'm back with Dan Korem. It is always so fascinating to hear you talk about the method of being able to read people and how incredibly important it is, and from business to personal, just personal
Politics.
interactions, politics. But you have used your methodology in trying to determine who might become a radical killer or something, you know. So let's talk a little bit about that, because in the news,
Yeah.
obviously, these shootings
Yeah.
that are so distressing
Yeah,
to everyone.
This is obviously a big topic. I was called by the Society of Human Resource Management, HR professionals. They have about 60,000 members at that time. Dan, you know these postal shooters?
Yeah, it became a term, going postal.
Going postal. You know, guys going off in the post office, doing
Right.
random shootings. Yeah.
Haven't had too many of those in a long time.
Well, there was a reason for that. And so they asked me, can you help us figure that out? Because we're now having the same trend in companies.
Yeah.
People walking in. And so I said, I don't know, give me the cases. So they gave me the cases. And I like to do this. I laid them out in the den on the floor. Almost like a jigsaw puzzle. And I just looked at it, and I had the characteristics of each person. I first profiled each one, each individual, and it popped out. And I didn't realize one of the profiles in our system, there's 20 profiles. And one of the profiles is the random actor behavioral profile. Now, the random actor behavioral profile is a person who's extremely unconventional and extremely fearful, paranoid, when making decisions. All right? Now, because a person has those two traits does not make them a killer. Doesn't mean they're going to harm somebody. In fact, I've known a lot, including the second president of the United States of America who had this profile. Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson, had this profile. He was extremely unconventional. That's why he was always creating something new at Monticello. As soon as he'd finish one room, he'd tear it down and do it again.
Yeah.
And he was an extremely fearful guy in his private life. He was brilliant as far as his expertise. So what we're looking for is, how do you make decisions separate from your expertise and your natural giftedness? So he was very gifted with the pen. But the guy who actually led the charge for our Declaration of Independence with all the folks gathered was John Adams.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Jefferson was the third president of the U.S. I said second. I meant third. John Adams was the second. And so I'm reading the book on John Adams by David McCullough. I think it's one of the 4 or 5 best history books ever written in American history, period. And the reason is it's not based on his opinion. It's solely based on the letters between John Adams and his wife Abigail, and it's the greatest and largest collection in the history of the presidency between a president and his wife or spouse. And so I'm reading this, and I turn to my wife, Sandy. Honey, you're not going to believe this. Jefferson had the random actor behavioral profile. Every time he got put in a stressful situation, he retreated. He couldn't make a decision. He kept his slaves. Adams, the confident one, Christian guy, did not keep slaves. And Jefferson is writing what he knows was wrong. This has been told many times. I'm not the only person. But that he had the random actor behavioral profile was never identified in any book in American history. Dan Rather, remember with CBS,
Yeah.
he read this little chapter. It's one of the last chapters in the book, in Snapshot. He said, Dan, I've always wondered, what was the problem with Jefferson? And if you like, I'd read this one little paragraph.
Yeah, sure.
Because this will put it all in time and space. So the chapter's called Two Men, Two Profiles, and the Destiny of a Nation. History talks to us, but with greater clarity. It was one of the most important friendships in American history. Together, two men shaped our nation's destiny. One man was called an enigma. If he was a monument, he would be the Sphinx. This is Jefferson. If he was a painting, he would be the Mona Lisa. His best friend called him a shadow man. So when you read the first-hand accounts between Abigail and Adams. She brings that, you just hear, Jefferson's extremely unconventional, brilliant, creative mind, but he's terrified of making critical decisions. He lost his wife. He lost kids. I mean, there were things that happened to the man that pushed him into that high, fearful state. And that's why he was constantly going back to Monticello. Mm-hmm. He almost said nothing while they were doing the Congress for the Declaration of Independence. Almost nothing. He didn't want to talk. And it wasn't because he was non-assertive, although he was. And guess who he picked for the Lewis and Clark expedition? Meriwether Lewis, who also had the random actor behavioral profile. Now, here's the deal. That profile was identified for a CEO that if you're at the table and this one person at the table is extremely bright, but they can't make a decision, you have to find another stakeholder. Only use them for information. I don't care how bright they are, how cleverly they can talk. You have to know how they make a decision, and we teach how to do that. You can do it in a matter of 2-3 minutes, figuring that out. So when it comes to everyday life, the beginning of our nation was started by a person who had this profile. Mm-hmm. Now, when I'm looking at all those cases of the shootings in companies, they all have the random actor profile. Mm-hmm. If you take a person who's high unconventional and they're reckless, chaotic, etc., doesn't mean they can't be meticulous in planning something, but if you look at their personal life, it is a wreck.
Yeah. And
then second, the way they make decisions out of extreme paranoia. Every single one of the mass school shooters in North America and Europe for over, 35 years had the random actor behavioral profile, no exceptions. Now, if you say, okay, what is the opposite profile of the random actor profile? It's conventional and confident. Mm-hmm. So anything that appears conventional and confident, historically, that's what they attack. That's the post office. Extremely conventional. Everybody feels very comfortable in their job, and they have these little groups, and this person feels excluded. Can you get a picture of that?
Yeah.
This guy that from the Brown shooting, he'll have this behavioral profile. Mm-hmm. The Columbine kids had this behavioral profile. The first attack that occurred in U.S. history that started the global trend was in Pearl, Mississippi. It was in 1987 in October, listen to this, during standardized test week, when everything is very rigid, very stiff. People are afraid they're not maybe going to do well. Suicides, when the standardized tests are done, always, and suicide ideation skyrockets in schools. Doesn't have to be. So we actually develop ways of administering the test to willing participants. You don't always find superintendents and principals that are willing to. They wouldn't fudge the rules. It was just different ways you could administer the test so you don't aggravate the person who has the random actor behavioral profile. So you'll find the attack at a McDonald's, but not a Jack in the Box. It'll be the post office, but not typically, not FedEx. People go postal, they don't get fed up. So we then identified a school that has never had, and we predicted this in the late 90s and put it in print and taught it to tens of thousands of educators. There is a certain type of school that has never had a random, they've never had a random actor attack, but they have many kids who have the random actor profile in their school. Where is it?
I don't know.
If a student, especially in high school, gets in a fight, does something wrong, they send him to the alternative education school. It's more strict, but there's also more guardrails put up so nobody gets bullied. The kids feel safe there. So I spoke at the several state conferences for alternative education educators, and I surveyed them all. After Columbine, I did a quick survey of the United States of alternative education campuses. Not a single threat. So it's been known. It's been known for almost getting close to 30 years now that there's a certain way that you conduct your school, and the gold standard is not that you don't have an attack. The gold standard is you never even have a threat. And for 24 years, that's why Texas went without an attack. By the way, we went to places in Europe when we did training, Canada, Finland. So it wasn't just in Texas. It went other places in the U.S. But in Texas, we spent more time because they were the best organized to get something like this done because of the education service centers, the regions. And so we did it through that. In 24 years, not a single school district had a threat from a student on the campus who made a threat to take out the school where there was intent. Never happened. The same body of research, we tweaked it for the military, and they stopped the suicides at Fort Hood. Every single school district that we touched, while they were using it, not a single evacuation, and the suicides stopped if they were using it. We had some that didn't. There was one here in the neighborhood they had problems. They used it. We had a 3-year contract with them to recharge the battery, if you will. They didn't show up. And 2 years later, they're calling me back because they didn't take care of business. They didn't take care of what was entrusted to them.
Right.
And by the way, this was not for us. My wife and I, we had to make a major financial decision because we were only paid about 10 or 15 cents on the dollar. We had to basically donate the rest. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And what we also found was the administrators who we trained and teachers, if they went to another district, when it'd be something like a Columbine or whatever, we would get calls. Hey, Dan, kids are going off here, but we stopped it before it ever happened. We prevented another one. And so we'll never know the actual number. And what happens is this. When it used to be, if you were to survey, or you'd have kids profile themselves. When we first started doing this training in 1997, there was a school district right after the one that happened in Pearl, Mississippi, that started the global trend. Dan Rather was down there covering it and all that. There was a school district here in Texas, you would know, a prominent one, where the kids had napalm, and they were going to do a napalm bomb attack. So we were warning that bombs are going to be used explicitly. I did journal articles, the whole shebang. We put it out in the places that needed it: law enforcement, education, counselors, mental health, etc. And when an attack occurs, you'll see often other attacks occur. Everybody says it's copycat. 100% incorrect. 100% incorrect. When you followed up the cases, I did hundreds and hundreds of these cases, and I'd be brought in, law enforcement would say, okay, what do we do here, blah, blah, blah. It was the paranoia of the person being agitated. It's like if you have a psychiatric ward and you have 30 stabilized patients, and then you put a destabilized patient in the ward, what happens? They go off.
They all go off, yeah.
That's what happened. So after Columbine, after 9/11, especially 9/11, the only place in North America that we're aware of that was a sizable population was school districts, well over 50,000 students. There was a place we had trained right before 9/11. I'm talking about like August before 9/11. It was one of the only places in North America that had no threats because they had identified kids who had this profile. So the most important thing you do with a person who's fearful is do what? You teach them how to make tiny, bite-sized decisions out of confidence, and they'll never go off. That's why the book that I wrote, it's called Rage of the Random Actor. The subtitle was Disarming Catastrophic Acts and Restoring Lives. It wasn't just about stopping the bad day. That to me was a failure if that's all you're focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
And so the problem is this. Law enforcement, that's not their charge. Our research has been used to stop major attacks by folks we had trained, military-wise, et cetera. But they're not in a position to prevent it behaviorally. That's something we do in the neighborhood. And unless you have a school board or superintendent that says the taking care of kids at the front end is what's really important.
Yeah.
By the way, when we trained the kids and the teachers how to profile, the kids' grades went up anywhere from 5 to 10 points in 8 weeks in math, science, English, history. So we'd show the kids how to use it to improve their grades, do better on competitions, et cetera. But if a community does not have the heart that says, this is not proactive, by the way, that's a horrible term. This is the humane way.
Mm-hmm.
The humane way. If we know there's an issue, when you're looking at schools now, when I was going into schools and the kids would profile themselves, and I'd have the teachers profile themselves, 50% of the teachers are profiling themselves as cautious to fearful decision makers. You can predict failure of an organization. I don't care what it is. Mm-hmm. If I saw that in a company, that'd be brought to the C-suite. We have to reverse this, because if you have to make a decision quickly to change because of market conditions, you won't be able to respond as quickly as your competition. So that's where we first used it. Well, in a school district, and it's not COVID only exposed what was already there. We were warning our superintendents because of the large number of people that had the fearful trait and how they made everyday decisions separate from what they were trained to do. We're going to see some very difficult times ahead when that's, of course, what's happened.
Yeah. We are out of time. And I understand you have a magic trick.
Do you have time for it?
We a couple of minutes. Can
Okay,
we do?
2 minutes. All right.
Okay, so you want me to be involved with this?
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely.
And you got started really
9.
as
9 years old.
as a little kid learning magic. Okay.
Yeah, and it taught me how people think. Okay, so we have 2 pieces of string. You'll hold it right here. Okay, good. Now, how many ends, so everybody could see this, how many ends do 2 pieces of string have?
4 ends.
4 ends, right? Okay. I want you to take your other hand and lift it up this way. Lift it up like this. Okay, good. And I want you to turn towards that camera so they can see it. Yeah. No. Turn your hand so they can see it from that angle. Okay? Yeah, just like this. There you go. Good. Okay, now turn it back this way. Now, all I want you to do is just go ahead and drop 2 of the ends. Okay. Now take your hand and put it underneath the 2 ends. Lower that, please. Lower a little more, just like this. Okay, now, let go of these 2 ends just for a second, and I'll just drop them over like that, okay? Good. Now go ahead and gently close your hand. Now, this is the type of string you've seen, to wrap the turkey.
Right.
Yeah, the cotton string.
Cotton string.
And the worst thing is you cut it too short. You ever gotten to that and you can't? I always thought it would be great if they could figure out a way to you put 2 pieces together and mend them together with something. And the way it would look with this, and show it in that direction too, just turn your hand in that direction, you can see it, okay, is you just pull on it like this. And
All right.
you've restored it. And there's no switch. They replayed it. There's no switch. There's nothing up my sleeve. My mother would say, why does he do it?
Oh, my goodness.
And an aunt would say, who cares how he does it?
That is amazing. Dan, you are a joy. You are a treasure. I'm so glad you're here in Central Texas. Got to have you come back because, again, we talked about education today. So much we need to talk about your documentary career, so much more. So we'll get you scheduled to come back.
Great.
Thank you so much. Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
At Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, we're proud to be your premier destination in Waco for exceptional automotive service. Whether you're searching for a new vehicle, a quality pre-owned car, or dependable service and parts, our team is here to take care of you every step of the way. Visit Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco, where great deals, friendly service, and your next ride are waiting. Come by, let's be friends.
A big thank you to our sponsor, Fox & Co. Bakery. Check them out for delicious baked goods and your catering needs.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, Your Bank for Life.
California, Orange County. You haven't been there before. Saw the pretty ocean water wash upon the shore. Good looking women, oh, I did see. But I still reckon Oklahoma's good enough for me. Take me back to Oklahoma, that's where I wanna go. I can sit on the waters of that lake in Broken Bow. Take me back to Oklahoma, that's where I wanna be. Oh, and Oklahoma's good enough for me. Took a trip to Mexico, played in the beautiful sun. Me and my buddies, man, we sure had fun. It's hard to beat a slice lime, an ice cold Corona. Give me some time, I'll be saying alright. Take me back to Oklahoma. Take me back to Oklahoma, that's where I wanna be. I can sit on the back porch, watch the whitetail feed. Take me back to Oklahoma, that's where I wanna be. Oh, and Oklahoma's good enough for me. That's right, I said Oklahoma is good enough for me.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, Your Bank for Life.
It's football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
Hey Waco, meet your new favorite email. It's called the Waco Buzz, the local newsletter that skips crime and chaos and gets straight to the good stuff.
A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
At Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, we're proud to be your premier destination in Waco for exceptional automotive service. Whether you're searching for a new vehicle, a quality pre-owned car, or dependable service and parts, our team is here to take care of you every step of the way. Visit Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco, where great deals, friendly service, and your next ride are waiting. Come by, let's be friends.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
It's football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game, poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
At Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, we're proud to be your premier destination in Waco for exceptional automotive service. Whether you're searching for a new vehicle, a quality pre-owned car, or dependable service and parts, our team is here to take care of you every step of the way. Visit Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco, where great deals, friendly service, and your next ride are waiting. Come by, let's be friends.
The Plaza Hotel, I've got to get down to Times Square.
How you getting there?
Well, last year I went by subway, but this year they've got a new way that they say is even faster. Now, I've got to go. See you later.
Wait. Well, now that's a lovely jacket.
Thank you.
But it'll never do.
No.
You can't go to Times Square looking like that.
Why not?
I mean, I think you should have something more hip, right? Don't you think?
More
something
hip?
like, wait. Like this. Right?
Like that?
This is it. See, this is the kind that Prince wears.
You mean like when he married Lady Di?
Wrong Prince.
Oh, wrong Prince. Well, I'm sorry, Gladys. I know that's kind of hip, but I feel pretty good in this. Now listen, I've got to go. Thanks very much, but I'll be back to sing and do my dance with the Pips, okay?
Well, maybe. They're talking it over.
Maybe. What do you mean talking it over?
Well, arguing, actually.
Arguing?
Yeah, never mind. You got to get going. You're going to be late. Go ahead.
Arguing? What could they be arguing about? I would be a great Pip. I don't understand that.
You didn't like this jacket. I think it's bad.
Times Square and step on it.
Times Square. Well, would you like me to take you by way of exciting Fifth Avenue?
I don't care.
And then we'll take a right along 42nd
That's
Street?
okay, that's...
Or shall I go down fashionable 7th Avenue?
That would be all right,
And
too.
then we take a left on 42nd Street.
Okay, but just...
Or shall I take you through historic Central Park?
Historic
And
spot.
then I can get out at Columbus Circle.
Excuse me.
and
Are you sure
continue-
are you sure you know this town? Just get me to Times Square.
Yes, there's Andy Williams leaving for Times Square, and he's going to get there by motorcycle in a sidecar before midnight. This portion of Happy New Year America is sponsored by Pepperidge Farms Vegetables and Pastry, and by Maximum Strength Sinutab, the complete sinus relief medicine.
I hear they're going wild down at Epcot, so let's get a little taste of Cool in the Gang. Look out for that bus!
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit propmoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
this place, I'm reminded of good days. Floor's a little dirty and the coffee table sticky from beer spilled the night before. Time sure did fly, sitting on the porch outside. And bugs flying around cause we left on the lights, but that's alright. As I look around at these four walls, I think about what they'd say if they could talk. They'd say, fell in love a couple times, kissing her on a green leather couch. Got drunk on cheap red wine, fell in love but it didn't work out. Sang all the words, Sweet Caroline, and stayed up all night long. Didn't do everything right, but you sure had a ball. Yeah, I guess that's what they say if walls could talk. Fold up table for the display, swear we'd watch our football games. Rooting for the Bears and praying our team would go a little further this year. The kitchen didn't get used much, buying breakfast, dinner, and lunch. Dirty dishes piled up in the sink, the same way as last week. As I look around at these four walls, I think about what they'd say if they could talk. They'd say, we fell in love a couple times, kissing her on a green leather couch. Got drunk with cheap red wine, fell in love but it didn't work out. Sing all the words, Sweet Caroline, and stayed up all night long. Didn't do everything right, but you sure had a ball. Yeah, I guess that's what they say if walls could talk. Fell in love a couple times, kissing her on a green leather couch. Got drunk with cheap red wine. We fell in love, but it didn't work out. Some of the words, Sweet Caroline, and stayed up all night long. Didn't do everything right, but you sure had a ball. Yeah, I guess that's what they say if walls could talk.
Welcome to Market XLS, your all-in-one Excel solution for investors. Designed as an enterprise-grade platform, Market XLS caters to investment managers, secure and efficient investment management and research. Book your free demo.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.